Shalom, and welcome. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly, just to yourself. Do you ever feel like you are running a race you don't remember signing up for? You are striving, climbing, achieving, building a life that looks magnificent from the outside, yet from the inside, it feels hollow. What if I told you that this feeling, this quiet ache of spiritual poverty amidst material plenty, is one of the most common afflictions of our modern age? We are given countless maps to financial success, to career advancement, to social status, but we are rarely, if ever, given a map for the soul. Today, I want to share with you the Master Map, a spiritual GPS that has guided seekers for thousands of years. It is known in my tradition as the Etz Chaim, the Tree of Life. I remember a time, perhaps 30 years ago now, when by all external measures, I was at the pinnacle of my success. I had built and sold 2 businesses. I had a portfolio that would make any Wall Street analyst nod in approval. I had the respect of my peers, and I was in a state of profound, bone-deep misery. I would wake up in the middle of the night, my heart pounding with an unnamed anxiety. The joy had been replaced by a relentless pressure to maintain, to grow, to acquire more. The more I acquired, the emptier the vessel of my life felt. I was a ship with magnificent sails but no rudder, tossed about by the winds of ambition and the currents of fear. It was a crisis that brought me to my knees, and in that surrender, I found my way back to the wisdom I had neglected, the deep, intricate, and practical knowledge of Kabbalah. Let me tell you about a gentleman I sat with just last year. We'll call him Daniel. Daniel was a brilliant surgeon, nationally renowned. He had a beautiful family, a home that belonged in a magazine, and the admiration of an entire community. He came to me because, in his late 50s, he found himself utterly lost. He told me, Solomon, "I've spent my whole life mastering the mechanics of the human heart, but I have no idea how my own heart works. I save lives every day, but I feel like I'm not truly living my own." Daniel had followed the world's blueprint perfectly. He had reached the top of the mountain, only to realize his soul was thirsting for a different landscape altogether. Have you ever felt that? That unsettling feeling that your ladder, for all its height, might be leaning against the wrong wall? This is not a personal failure. It is a systemic one. Our world teaches us a very linear, very masculine form of creation. Idea, plan, action, result. It is the energy of the arrow, shot straight at a target. The Tree of Life, however, reveals that true, sustainable creation is not linear. It is cyclical, relational, and holistic. It's a flow. Think of it this way. Your nervous system has 2 primary modes. The fight-or-flight mode, driven by adrenaline and cortisol, is what our modern world demands. It's effective for short sprints, for emergencies. But we are living our entire lives in this state of emergency, and it's leading to burnout on a mass scale. The Tree of Life is a guide to operating from the other mode, the rest and digest, the state of creative, intuitive flow. It is a blueprint for aligning the divine spark of an idea with your intellect, your emotions, and your physical actions, so that what you manifest in the world is a true reflection of your deepest essence, not just a reaction to external pressures. It is not just another self-help tool. It is a diagram of consciousness itself, a map of the way God or the universe or creative intelligence, whatever name you are comfortable with, brings forth reality. And the most beautiful part is, that same map is encoded within you. So, if we are to use this map, this Tree of Life, where do we begin? We begin at the source. The top of the tree consists of a trinity of energies, or Sephirot, that represent the realm of pure consciousness, the divine blueprint for creation. Think of it as programming the destination into your GPS before you even start the car. Most people in the world of business and achievement start in the middle of the map, with action, with emotion, with strategy. And they wonder why they end up feeling lost. The journey of authentic creation always begins here, in the quiet, subtle realms of pure potential. The very first and highest sphere is called Keter, which means crown. This is the point of pure, undiluted potential. It is the divine will, the source from which everything flows. In practical terms, Keter is your ultimate why. It's not, I want to build $1 million company. That is a strategy, a goal. Keter is the purpose behind the goal. Is it to create freedom, to foster connection, to bring beauty into the world? Keter is the silent, unmanifest seed of your highest intention. It is a state of being you connect with through stillness, through prayer, through asking the profound question, what is the truest, highest purpose that seeks to express itself through me? Ignoring Keter is like setting sail on a vast ocean with no destination in mind. You will be busy, but you will be adrift. From the infinite potential of Keter flashes a spark. This is the second sphere, Chokmah, which translates to wisdom. Chokmah is like a bolt of lightning in the dark. It is the primordial, intuitive flash of an idea, raw and undefined. It is the aha moment. It carries all the energy of creation, but it has no form yet. It's the artist's first electrifying vision for a masterpiece. It's the entrepreneur's disruptive idea that seems to come from nowhere. Many of us experience these flashes of Chokmah, these brilliant insights, but we dismiss them. Why? Because they are untamed, impractical, and often frightening in their scope. We haven't yet learned how to catch the lightning. That is the role of the third sphere, Binah, or understanding. If Chokmah is the flash of divine masculine energy, the seed, then Binah is the great divine feminine principle, the womb that receives that seed and begins to give it form. Binah takes the raw, chaotic energy of the idea and begins to build a structure around it. It asks the practical questions. What are the details? What are the limitations? What is the process? It creates the blueprint from the initial sketch. Binah is the business plan, the outline for the novel, the detailed schematics for the invention. A balance is crucial here. Too much Chokmah without Binah leads to a life of brilliant but unfinished projects. Too much Binah without Chokmah leads to rigid, uninspired plans that lack that vital spark of life. I once worked with a gifted architect, a woman named Rebecca. She was technically brilliant, but felt her work had become sterile and lifeless. She was a master of Binah, of structure and detail, but she had lost her connection to the creative spark. I encouraged her to stop designing for a while, to stop planning, and simply to be still, to reconnect with her Keter, her deepest love for creating spaces that brought people peace. For weeks, she did nothing but walk in nature and sit in silence. Then one day, on a walk, the spark of Chokmah hit her. A vision for a community center built with natural flowing lines that mimic the forest around it. It was a wild, brilliant idea. Then, and only then, did she bring her formidable gift of Binah to bear, lovingly and patiently translating that lightning flash into a set of workable, beautiful blueprints. She didn't just design another building, she manifested a piece of her soul. Are you honoring all three? Are you making space for the silent intention, welcoming the wild spark, and then lovingly giving it a structure in which to grow? A perfect blueprint, born from the union of divine spark and deep understanding, is a beautiful thing. But it is inert. An architect's drawings, no matter how brilliant, cannot build a house. To move from the realm of mind to the world of manifestation, the idea must be invested with energy. It must descend from the head into the heart. This brings us to the next triad of Sephiro on our map, the emotional core of the tree. This is the engine that drives all of creation, and learning to balance these forces is the key to moving from dreaming to doing. The first of these emotional spheres, flowing down from the blueprint of Binah, is called Chesed, which means loving kindness or grace. Chesed is the powerful, radiant, and unstoppable force of expansion. It is the desire to give, to grow, to overflow. It is boundless optimism, generosity, and forgiveness. In a business, Chesed is the big vision, the investment in growth, the willingness to take risks, the nurturing of talent. It says yes to life, to possibility, to more. It is the unrestrained flow of water, seeking to nourish everything it touches. But as we know, water without banks or channels can become a destructive flood. An engine with only an accelerator and no brakes is a recipe for disaster. This is why Chesed must be held in dynamic tension with its opposite, the fifth sphere, Gevurah. Gevurah translates to strength, but it also means discipline, judgment, and restraint. It is the force of contraction. If Chesed says yes, Gevurah is the power and wisdom to say no. It provides the necessary boundaries and structures that contain and direct the expansive energy of love. In business, Gevurah is the budget. It's the deadline. It's quality control. It's the difficult but necessary decision to let an employee go or to cut a product line that isn't working. It is the act of pruning a rose bush, a painful-looking contraction that ultimately leads to healthier, more beautiful blooms. Without Gevurah, Chesed becomes indulgence and chaos. Our best intentions dissolve into mismanagement and burnout. I had a client, a wonderful man named Samuel, who owned a small chain of bakeries. He was a man of immense Chesed. He loved his employees like family. He gave away bread to the poor, and he could never say no to a request. But his business was on the brink of collapse. His generosity had become a liability. Payroll was bloated. Inventory was wasted, and there was no accountability. He came to me in despair. After a period of overcorrection where he tried to become a ruthless manager, an exercise in pure Gevurah that crushed morale, we worked on finding the center. This center is the sixth and most crucial sphere of the emotional realm, Tiferet, which means beauty or harmony. Tiferet sits in the middle of the tree, perfectly balancing the outflowing love of Chesed and the disciplined restraint of Gevurah. It is not a weak compromise between the two. It is a powerful synthesis that creates something new and beautiful. It is compassionate discipline. It is sustainable growth. Tiferet is the heart of a healthy leader, a healthy family, a healthy life. For Samuel, finding Tiferet meant creating clear job descriptions and holding people to high standards, Gevurah, while also implementing a profit-sharing plan and fostering a culture of mutual respect, Chesed. The result was a workplace that was not only profitable, but also beautiful in its functionality and harmony. True wealth is a Tiferet proposition. It is the harmonic balance between earning and giving, saving and spending, working and resting. Where in your own life is this balance needed? Do you give until you are empty, or do you restrict until you are brittle? The path to a beautiful life, a life of Tiferet, lies in learning to use both the accelerator and the brakes with wisdom and compassion. We have received the divine blueprint in our minds. We have energized it with the balanced power of our hearts. Now we must bring it down into the world of action, into the very bones of reality. This is the final stage of our journey down the tree, moving from the harmonious center of Tiferet into the lower triad that governs the practical world of doing. This is where the plan hits the pavement. Flowing from the balance of Tiferet, the energy splits once again into two complementary forces. On the one side, we have Netzach, which means victory or endurance. Netzach is the raw animal passion for life. It is drive, ambition, and the emotional persistence to overcome obstacles. If Gevurah is the discipline to say no, Netzach is the indomitable will to keep saying yes to your dream, even when it's difficult. It's the artist in the studio for 12 hours straight, fueled by inspiration. It's the entrepreneur making the 50th phone call after 49 rejections. It is the warrior energy that fights for the manifestation of the vision. On the other side, we have its necessary partner, Hod, which means splendor or humility. Hod is the intellectual energy of the strategist, the scientist, the planner. It is the realm of logic, communication, and details. While Netzach is pure emotion and drive, Hod is cool, rational analysis. It's the part of you that builds the spreadsheets, that writes the detailed project plan, that measures the results and adjusts the strategy accordingly. Hod brings the humility to admit when a plan isn't working and the splendor of a perfectly executed design. Netzach is the gas pedal, Hod is the GPS and the steering wheel. Without Hod, Netzach's passion burns out or crashes. Without Netzach, Hod's perfect plans sit on a shelf, never acted upon. These two streams of energy, the passionate warrior and the humble strategist, then flow together into the ninth sphere, Yesod, which means foundation. Yesod is the great integrator. It takes the passion of Netzach and the plans of Hod and synthesizes them into the final, coherent blueprint for manifestation. You can think of Yesod as the subconscious mind, the place where all your beliefs, habits, and automatic behaviors are stored. It is the invisible infrastructure upon which your reality is built. In a company, Yesod is the integrated operational system, the culture, the engine that runs behind the scenes, turning strategy and passion into repeatable processes ready for execution. Building a strong foundation in Yesod means aligning your subconscious beliefs and daily habits with the vision you are trying to create. And finally, the entire creative current of the tree, flowing from the highest crown of Keter, through the mind, the heart, and the operational plans, arrives. It arrives in the 10th and final sphere, Malkhut, the kingdom. Malkhut is the physical world. It is your body, your bank account, your business, your relationships, your home. It is the final, tangible result of the entire creative process. The state of your Malkhut, the state of your physical life, is a direct and unflinching reflection of the energy that has flowed down the tree. If your life feels chaotic, the imbalance may be in the heart, between Chesed and Gevurah. If your life is stalled, perhaps the block is between Netzach and Hod. If your life feels empty and without purpose, the disconnection may be at the very top, at Keter. Let us return to Rebecca, the architect. Her divine spark of an idea, Chokmah, was lovingly developed into a blueprint, Binah. She balanced a generous vision for the community Chesed with a realistic budget, Gevurah, creating a beautiful and harmonious project plan, Tiferet. Then she fought passionately for funding and permits Netzach, while meticulously managing the complex logistics of construction, Hod. This created a powerful and seamless operational foundation, Yesod. The result? The final building, her Malkhut, was not just a structure of wood and glass. It was a physical embodiment of peace, a kingdom of tranquility that blessed everyone who entered it, a perfect manifestation of her highest intention. This is the power of this map. It shows us how to stop chasing wealth and start consciously creating it from the inside out. It is the guide to transforming your entire reality, your kingdom, into a reflection of your deepest, most divine truth.